Now call Stuart McMillan to be followed by Paul O'Kane. Mr McMillan.
Thank you very much, President Officer. First of all, I'd like to thank Paul Sweeney for bringing this debate forward. I want to live in a Scotland where we treat everyone who lives within our borders with dignity and respect. I will gently remind Paul Sweeney about his party's chequered position on immigration, but something both Mr Sweeney and I can agree on is the Tories at Westminster have ripped up the rulebook when it comes to treating people with compassion, particularly people seeking asylum. The rhetoric from Suella Braverman and Robert Jenrick, amongst others, has been nothing short of appalling. And it has made bringing forward policies like and proposals like free bus travel for people seeking asylum more challenging. But no doubt there will be people watching this debate who disagree with this motion, saying the money could be better spent elsewhere. But we also know that the Scottish Government budget has consistently been cut, and it certainly is tight, to say the least. However, I think many will have been taken in, sadly, by the rhetoric from the UK Government and will not appreciate that we're talking about a very small number of people. As Paul Sweeney indicated a moment ago, it's around about 5,000 people. Now, President Officer, I've met many of the asylum seekers in my constituency, along with the local MP, Ronnie Cowan. The hotel being used to accommodate them initially had a maximum capacity of 80, but this has recently been increased to 160, doubling up strangers in rooms. And there's no extra money coming from the UK Government to actually help deal with and provide local services as a consequence. Now, the asylum seekers want a home of their own, and they also want to contribute to society, as many have the skills that many local businesses and also the public sector could actually utilise. But instead, they are left to find things to do day after day to then return to their room without their family. Until you've experienced this or witnessed the life asylum seekers are living, you really can't, nobody could really fully understand what they're going through mentally. They are human beings, often coming from war-torn countries. The Scotland, I believe, is a warm and open country that welcomes people, that also want to come here and create new lives for themselves. And organisations like Your Voice in my constituency are doing a great job in actually trying to help the asylum seekers in the Greenwich and Inverquay constituency. I'm very proud of my constituency and the job that they have done, and actually kind of opening up the hand of friendship and being very warm and welcoming to the asylum seekers. However, the fact that asylum seekers are moved around the country on a regular basis without any choice, that makes it a lot harder for certainly my community, but also for other communities where asylum seekers are. I spoke to one man who, in the space of 15 months, has moved from a hotel in Northern Ireland to 3 more in Scotland, and then also coming to Greenock. That is no way to live. That's an existence. And that's why I fully support providing free bus travel for people seeking asylum, as it might make life just a wee bit easier for them to actually get around. Sure.
Jackson Carlo.
And clearly, asylum seekers under 25 and over a certain age will already be eligible for the free bus travel. My understanding is not an issue of principle with the government, it's an issue of practical implementation, in that they have to identify a cohort of individuals in a transparent and measurable way to extend the scheme to. That's what I'm hoping that the Minister might be able to advance us on. I think we're agreed in the principle. It's the actual practical way in which it might be implemented.
Stuart McMillan.
Well, I'm sure the Minister will deal with the matter, because it wasn't a question for me. Presiding Officer, I've witnessed men locally also supporting each other with the language barrier. And if one person speaks Arabic and is well spoken in English, that person can then become a helpful conduit for the rest of the group. And this certainly can be very important when needing to raise an issue or seek help, particularly when it comes to reading letters, formal letters that come in. Presiding Officer, asylum seekers receive a very small allowance each week, £9.58 if someone is staying in a hotel. And certainly in my constituency, asylum seekers are staying in hotels. And as we already know, it's not a huge amount of money. Particularly when it comes to the issue of the cost of travel. So I believe that for a relatively low cost, the benefit of free bus travel to asylum seekers would be truly game-changing, and certainly would reflect the different approach that we could take in Scotland with supporting those in need. But I do go back to my point. I know that the finances are extremely tight, to say the least. However, disabled asylum seekers aged between 22 and 59 may experience some issues in accessing the current concessional travel scheme, as their eligibility may be dependent on the receipt of certain UK welfare benefits which asylum seekers cannot access. So the Equalities, Human Rights and Civil Justice Committee report published this week, and Co-Cab Stuart, the convener, spoke in this debate, already stated that, and I quote from the report, a quote from one of the asylum seekers who told the committee, "When I'm stressed, everything about me goes down, so bus passes would be a big help." Presiding Officer, in concluding, I actually do welcome the committee's findings, and an extension of the existing national concession scheme to include all asylum seekers would be transformative. And I do hope that the Scottish Government would consider this during the upcoming budget process, but also recognise it will be extremely difficult to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms McMillan.